All right, so to see UK 4 infantry, 2 artillery, 2 tanks. So you put a couple tanks down here in India, which does add a little bit of a twist where you could blitz tanks and then 9 tanks, excuse me, 9 fighters into Kaza. That being said, I also don't plan on hitting his 2 infantry here this turn. Um, and even if I did, he could still use his infantry to clear out whatever I put there, possibly, and so forth, so forth. So I'm just not really all that interested in taking that. He did blitz South Africa and come back, consolidated his forces, makes sense. Not a big deal. And yeah, so here we go. So I had 54 IPC, which means I can build 13 infantry at 39, and that left me 15 IPC left over with maxing out my production. So I'm going to go ahead and build me a factory up here. I like the factory up in the front. Um, it may that might be the thing that goads him into go ahead and attacking. But if he attacks with a 1 and a 2 followed by the UK, 1, I can fly my 5 fighters down, German fighters into there, and it's still positive for me overall. And then 2, if he bangs his Russians up against here and I clear out these guys and these guys, all he's got these 4 plus, whatever he builds, 6, 7 people, I can bring this whole stack of Germans in and crush them the next turn, which I know, KGF, you don't really want to take Moscow with Germany, but if you get back and you protect Berlin from ever getting taken, I'll take it. And then let Japan start blurring out India and not that way. So anyways, that's what we're going to shoot for. So we are able to build 13 infantry and a factory that we can just go ahead and put right up on the front line. And I don't always put one here, but when I get Kazakh stacked early like this, I like it. Now, one thing that we do have as a threat looming is this bomber versus a carrier destroyer. And I'm gonna do a 3-in-1. And so that's one more infantry than I'd like to send here, but I'd rather not risk that bomber versus those guys. I mean, still 80% chance I live, but 20% chance just to risk a bomber to take out the 4 transports. I'd rather not give him that opportunity personally. So I could use some more fighters, but I really want to bring the fighters down to France, where they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. They could go into any of these with my fleets and my carrier sitting in 27, 21. That can come up to any of these guys as well. And so that'll give me 2 destroyers, a carrier, 2 battleships, and a loaded, 2 fighters. So pretty powerful. And it's going to make him have to think about what he's going to do with these guys. I am pulling my Japan planes off pressure off of here. And, I really thought about the 5-in-1. I had an 80% chance of wiping these guys and taking out the 2 transports. Um, he called my bluff. So if I don't take it now, is it really that big a deal if I stay up here? He already knows I'm not going to. So I like putting the 2 fighters and a bomber here. He's going to need to protect C-Zone 10. We'll still have some pressure on these guys. Um, but we're also going to have pressure on the south here and make him have to respond to it. right. Yep. Nope. I was just trying to. I was just looking at things here and getting my bearings and everything. Let's go with it. Good job, fighter. Fighter did his job, and it's a good thing he did do his job. Keep those Japan fighters hitting. Come on, fighters. Let's get those fighters hitting again. Ugh. Come on. I just need the hit, please. Alright, I'm gonna have to relook at my calculator. This guy was counting on killing that artillery. Miss, 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 miss. Dang it. Well, that air did its job. Why couldn't the other guys? That one stinking fighter didn't do his job. Yeah, I'm gonna just stick with my plan, even though that stings. If he goes ahead and attacks there, I will have my Germans that can just move in. So it'd be risky for him to risk all those guys. Oh, no, not you. Come back. You, my son, are going over this way. Sure, moved everybody. Oh, 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 forgot about my fleets. Let's see what he decides to do about that. I haven't thought it out very hard. You know, he very well may be able to get enough back to protect and dead zone these guys. But if nothing else, we might be able to bring the 4 and a couple battleships and hit him over here. I don't know. Haven't really thought it out too. I haven't thought too hard. I just figured that this big a fleet down here has got to be at least menacing for him. And I do that, and most likely I'll probably be able to end up taking Caucasus and stack it before too long. But I don't know. I just feel like it takes me forever to actually get this stack over there. And then you got to worry about the back and forth. I like putting them right there, right up at the front. It also means if he does get some sort of cheap shot eventually on these transports, I still got lots of production going right up at the front, and it's not that big a deal. So, all right. So here we go. So yes, we've got these two fleets plus these two fires that can reach down, plus this bomber threatening his C zone 10. Three. We got our five fighters to cover here, two fighters to cover in here. Yeah, these guys don't really help out at all anymore for a turn at least. But we'll be back. And we'll just keep pumping these guys as fast as we can through. We do got, I mean, he does have a lot of guys. He could send five that way. But we got three infantry, three fighters, four fighters if we really want to, a bomber that could come up there, and we could always send some tanks back there. So it's a weak spot, but he's only got so far he can send guys out, and he's got to worry about all the units right near Moscow still. Let's see, that was Japan's turn, so US still has to go. So let's take a quick look here. So as you can see, I'm still 13 IPC behind, and US still has to go. So it's hard to say that I feel comfortable in this game, but I feel kind of comfortable in this game. Our income's up to 87. Again, this is before US has done their turn, so not 100%, but you know, was it 95, 87? So he's still getting a little more income than me, but I'm feeling pretty strong. If we can take down Moscow here in the next couple turns, then we can pivot towards income and start pulling that back up and go protect Berlin then. So that's why I don't pull up the war report. I know people have asked about it. I don't pull the war report too often. Even my spreadsheet, I do my spreadsheet more for collecting data from the later on. I'm kind of curious to see if I can start to see a trend. Um, I really like board position as my most weighing of where a game is at. So I feel pretty good where I'm at right now. I think he stayed a little too long in India. Of course, it is a large force there that he could still choose to do something with. I mean, if he comes here, I can crush him, but then that means takes pressure off of Moscow, right? So there's always a give and take. So whatever he ends up deciding to do with these guys is going to give me a headache one way or the other. If he goes this direction, then I've got to come back and deal with it that way too. So if he chooses just to stay in India, then that's all the blessing to me. All right, there we go.